Yeah, hey Cedar, how's it going? Nice to hear from you.
It's good. How are
And
you?
it's going well. Not doing too bad today.
Nice.
Um, pretty successful day so far. Just watching the QQQ move. It's pretty
Well,
choppy up
interesting
here, but we're
to
slowly grinding up.
see us over the overnight high and the RTH open. And that's what I've been warning about when I was able to pop into chat. I'm like, don't go short if we're above these levels. And we definitely
Right.
had that as resistance, but I think that has been resolved on the 30-minute chart at this point. 4571, very interesting level. If you go back and look at that on the weekly, and anytime you see a level for me that is not rounded on ES to a 5 or a 0, that means it's
Mhm.
more significant. So looking to see
Huh.
some continued upside here. I'm, like I said, not trading today just because of all the stuff I've got going on. Other
Right.
than I might be taking some swings. I've got my Boeing swing. Let's check on that. Yeah, so the Boeing swing from yesterday entered at 73 cents and it's at 90 right now. So nice follow through on that. I expect to probably actually hold that into probably the end of the first week in December, possibly even the second week. We'll see how that goes. But um, so curious because I haven't really been. I mean, I've tried to peek in at Market Talk just a little bit, but anything you're thinking as far as what you're seeing with what our traders are doing and how people are experiencing this market right now.
Um, Honestly, I've been seeing mostly a lot of success
Awesome.
lately, and we're just kind of. I can't really think of anything that stands out to me. Just scrolling up right now too, but hmm, I
I
mean,
really haven't seen a
finding the
whole lot,
trend
which
hasn't been, yeah,
yeah,
really hasn't
that's
been a thing
it's
anymore.
been awesome since we've been doing this. I think did we start back in March of this year or even February? We started a while ago and starting to see a lot more maturity, I guess is the word to use. And I have to
Right.
be honest, like I at 40 and I'm 47 right now. At 40 looked around and was like, dude, where are all the adults? Like what are they doing? And the answer was I was the adult and I was like, how did this happen? And the adults, aka my parents' age, were behaving like kids. And I was like, what is happening? So maturity is a relative thing. I actually think I decided I was mature by about 40 with that thought process. But but the idea is seeing our membership, seeing our community grow net out. And there's always going to be people who are coming in new, starting those struggles that we've all experienced
Mhm.
repeatedly for me, raising my hand right here because I'm a hard learner. But it's nice to see that I feel like people are listening to these and really starting to grow their own mental the mental game, which is why we named
Right.
this mind over matter. It's literally a head game, how you think about things. So I
Truly is.
I was thinking about morning ritual. One of my coaching clients asked me what my ritual, like how I start my morning, and I do start pretty early. But I was like,
Yeah.
does it matter what I do or does it matter what your schedule is? So let's build for you what that looks like because he works overnight. I mean, it's a completely different schedule than mine, but here are the default days and I call it a gold calendar or a default calendar. The default days, because there's always going to be crazy times. Like you've got to go on a field trip with your kid's school or, weird stuff where you're like, and I guess I'm not trading today. So how we go back to what our day looks like with disruption, because there's always going to be disruption. There's never going to be a like perfect time where everything just comes together. There's always some level of craziness. So walk me through what your day looks like. I'll kind of go through my day and then talk more about, kind of the nuances of what are important net out as our community is building their individual default or gold calendar.
Yeah, sure. Mostly mine is just a normal morning. I don't really think about trading until I'm sitting at my desk, and I think that's important. Like I do wake up, I look at the charts a little bit more so now with your with futures
With the
trading,
futures. Yeah, I,
and
I dream
and
about charts still, which,
yeah.
I don't know if that's a defect or whatever, but I love
No,
charts.
I still like it. I mean, I do have nightmares too about the cell being filled or something, which actually just happened to me today for the first time. I was actually pretty bummed, but ended up actually hitting the daily profit anyways on that account still.
Nice.
Um, but
Now, did you turn off the autofill so your computer didn't wake you up in the middle of the night? Order
the
filled,
autofill,
right?
yeah,
Right.
no,
The audio
right,
where you're
right,
like,
right.
it's 2 a.m. and you're like, why did it
I
wake me
kind of
up?
like the audio right now,
Oh,
but yeah,
yeah.
no, but I'm sure I'll get sick of it over time. But as far as back to like the morning ritual, I really just wake up. I I glance at the charts. I don't really form a bias. And don't worry, you guys, I'm still looking at this Q's call because I know we're in this call right here. I'm still watching this 4578 test on ES,
And this is
trying to
with
catch
our
this.
timing during market hours. It definitely is challenging if we're in trades. So if you need to
Right.
alert something, totally good.
Yeah. And well, did you want to maybe just talk about your morning routine first and then maybe this trade will play out? Because
Yeah,
we're up
yeah,
about
totally. So
13%, so I'm looking for an exit.
I really like to have my workout done before the day starts. And we're in this transition right now where I'm like the remodel is happening in my, so we've got a 3-car garage and one of the cars is turning into my hybrid trading and workout room. So there should be pictures here shortly. I think we've got mud happening on the ceiling right now. So it will change a little bit, but to give what I've done for the last 2 years that I've been here, I wake up at 4:20 and I'm in the shower by 4:21. I'm not one of those people that hits the snooze. I feel like that's like the version of waterboarding where you wake up and you're like, snooze a little bit longer. You're not really sleeping. It's not quality sleep. It didn't help you. Like, you're definitely
Right.
not better for it.
Actually,
So,
not beneficial either. Your
yeah,
mind doesn't like, yeah.
yeah, you're not recovering more. It's literally just, yeah, I call it my inner teenager, just rebelling against getting up. So, set the time you need to get up and have the alarm go off then, and it's put your phone or whatever alarm is waking you up across the room. So your butt has to get out of bed. You have to get up to turn it off. And by that point, you're like, okay, fine. If it's next to you, you can hit the snooze over and over again. And that is definitely not beneficial at any level. So the idea is up in the bathroom, in the shower, brushing teeth, getting your stuff knocked out quick. Because, you can always take time later, but, if we're going to wake up, like we should get up and get moving. So I usually don't eat breakfast until after I work out, although that has taken me a long time to get to that point. For a long time, I actually had to eat a little bit. So, small handful of almonds, 10 to 15 almonds, something to keep the blood sugar from crashing. And that's a probably down a different avenue, talking about blood sugar and early morning stuff, but making sure that you're nourishing yourself, that you're taking time to have some deep breaths, even if you're not going to work out. I'm pretty convinced, and I've been a NASM, so National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer for 17, almost 18 years now. I think half the benefit of exercise is the breath. And yes, you definitely need to get your heart rate up, that kind of thing, but the breathing, that mental piece, and we were talking about this a couple days ago, where you just stop and take deep breaths. Just nice, slow, deep breaths in, little pause, slow, deep breath
Taking
out.
these profits at 0.95 right here from these Q's calls at this at 391.17 level. I'm not too sure if we break this.
It's a
Just gonna
beautiful
exit
trade.
these.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've
I
got
actually got filled at 0.94. Sorry.
that 391.29 is definitely a area to be paying attention to. So I get up, get ready for my day entirely, do my workout, and then I come back and have breakfast and do my market prep. Now, my market prep is in the morning time, kind of a slow, I don't do a lot in the morning because I've already done most of it at market close the previous day. So by 5 p.m., I already have all my previous day and my T+2 levels marked, everything really except the daily and the weekly moving averages, and then overnight high and low that might need to be adjusted. But I'm making fine tuning on those final pieces, and then having breakfast, kind of just watching what the tape looks like. So the tick by tick that I watch on Webull, I'm just kind of looking at it, going, all right, are we getting spunky as we come into the 9 a.m. New York Open? What's the tape look like? What's the tempo? And where are we from a location perspective? Are we inside previous day's range? Are we outside? Are we inside previous day's value? Are we outside? where are we trading, just so I can like step back and look at it rather than setting all my levels right before market opens and then being very stressed. So I think one of the biggest things that people should know about your daily routine is if you have elevated heart rate, if you feel stressed, if your palms are sweaty, you took too long to do it, or you should have done it yesterday, or maybe you should just not be logged into your broker. And I know you do that a lot where you're like, I'm not even logged in. No idea.
Oh yeah, I just sit here with my phone in front of me. I still have to unlock my phone. I still have to.
Log in.
Usually my phone's on Discord, so I have to go to switch to Webull app, and then I have to Face ID, do all that, put in my trading password, whatever, and then I still have to pull up the trade, and the trade menu, pull
Yep.
up options chains, and still do that. So it
And
takes a
I
little bit.
I rarely trade in the first 30 minutes recently. I've in the past traded a lot after the first 5 minute candle, but it has not been my style lately to do that. So even though I'm ready to trade and I can, I might not. And the whole idea is that take a deep breath and relax, where you can sit back in your chair and just chill instead of having to be in a trade is a huge piece for me. I also set myself 30-minute alarms that are just a quick little, and it's on my watch, so it's not audio alarms, but it's a reminder for me to get up, move around. Might be taking a walk outside, might be just stand up, do some wall push-ups, some basic squats, like I'm just moving as opposed to being seated. A lot of this is going to change once I have the hybrid, the trading room and training room set up, because I'll be able to, like right now, I've got my elliptical next to me where I can get up and get on it for 10, 15 minutes, a couple, 3 or 4 times a day. But it will change a lot because I will be able to get up and be on a foam roller in front of the screens or doing different things. So that's I'm it's going to change a little bit, but I should be able to since I'm not training as much physically on the floor now, give me the opportunity to be up and standing. And that's one of the biggest issues that we have in this career is that we're stationary, we're seated, and we're literally like your blood is congealing into a mass of nothing. You're just sitting. And I know so many traders that, 20 years in are suffering massive heart attacks or health events that we really want to try to avoid. And so for me, I consider it the ultimate combination to be able to make money in front of the screens, but also still be able to take care of yourself physically. Because it doesn't matter how much money you make if you can't enjoy it, if you can't be physical and go out and do the things in the real world that are what makes the world go round. So for me, that's horseback riding, skiing, well, pretty much anything away from the screens, right? I really like to be in nature, and that definition is going to be different for each person, but it's really important that we pay attention to that. So I think the biggest thing is that you wake up at the same time every day. You don't be like, "Oh, I got drunk last night. I woke up hungover and I'm going to sleep until, 10 or whatever that is." It's you take it serious exactly like it is. It is a business and you take your business serious. So things like exercise, or for some people it's prayer or meditation, we're paying attention to what our action plan is. So what the levels are, like I talked about earlier. And really that you have started to do that from the previous close. So it's not just, okay, market's closed, bam, shut the screens, and you don't think about it again. It is important to be able to check out and not be always logged into screens. But if you think about as the wrap of the day, clearing the desk, clearing the, what the levels were. I know Husky actually deletes all of his stuff and re-adds it the next day, which is not a bad thing. I do not do that because I've got too many levels from too many years, but I always reassess what they are. Like, is that level still valid? And what kind of things are we looking at? And then retouching your trading rules. If you guys don't have trading rules, make sure you right now, like over this Thanksgiving holiday, establish them. And my staff introduction has my trading rules. And there doesn't need to be that many, really, probably 3 or 4, right? No FOMO, no greed, no revenge trading, that kind of thing. But you need to have established rules that you review as you come into the market open. And for some people who are audio, it's saying them out loud to yourself. For some people who are visual, it's having them printed out on, laminated whatever that you can just go back and look through. You're going to have to find your own way, like how to review those. For me, audio is about 20% of the population audio learning. So me saying something out loud actually reinforces it because I am audio. Most people need to see it, the visual reminders of, oh yeah, damn, I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to, FOMO into stuff. I'm not going to revenge trade. All of those things you have to be reminding yourself, however that works for you individually. And then most important part is reminding yourself that cash is a position. It is absolutely okay to not be in a trade at all because you're enjoying the money that you have right now and you didn't lose it. So huge piece to that, if you have to be in a trade, very frequently that's going to end up costing you way more money than if you would have just like sat back, right? It's just that whole Odysseus and the Sirens, just sit back and observe. And that is an okay thing. It's probably the best skill I could possibly suggest somebody to develop is be like, here's where I would trade, kind of what I was doing today. Oh, here are the levels, but I'm not trading.
Yep, and you can just watch things and you can learn, and that's how you gain confidence. Also, seeing your play out. You don't always have to put money on it, and especially when you're learning, right? You could just say, okay, I think it's going to do this, and it does that, right? And you're like, okay, well, that's nice. Like maybe I could look for this more often because I saw that happen. And the more you see it happen, the better you'll get, and the more comfortable you'll get at starting to take plays, and then the more you take plays, the more confident you'll get, and the better you'll get at entries. And that's really all it is after a while, is just seeing things, seeing it multiple times, then starting to put money on that, and then, get comfortable and then round out those entries and exits.
And what you're hearing D. Cruz say is that he's not like, if he sees something that he was happy with what his TA was on the chart, there's no FOMO behind, I didn't take that. Damn, I wish I would have taken that, kind of philosophy. It's like, oh, I was right. Those are beautiful levels. It builds that confidence that we all need to have in we're seeing the TA well, as opposed to I missed it. There will always be another trade. There will always be more time unless you take yourself out. Literally clothesline yourself with having to be in a trade is a very unfortunate place to be. So delayed gratification, being able to observe but not act, huge pieces. Now I have to ask, and if you guys will tag me in Market Talk, how many of you actually been through all of the content? And I mean every single piece inside the Trading Psychology channel. I started that the very first day I came in, which is October 1st, 2021, because for me, I think that's why Husky brought me, is I'm so focused on the psychology and that whole mindset coaching piece. How many of you have been through every single piece of content, watched all the videos, read everything? I think that's a good place to start. Okay, K-Dub says, I have not been through all the content. All right, so homework over the weekend, because we've got tomorrow off. We've got a half day on Friday. I will also not be trading on Friday. That is 4 days with a little bit of family time on Thanksgiving to knock out a bunch of that stuff. You need to start with the Trading in the Zone audiobook. That book literally saved my life. Literally, that was the turnaround for me with my losses. So if you're not currently consistently profitable, that's where you start. And even if you are, and you're kind of, like there's an ebb and a flow, and yes, you're profitable, but not as much as you should be, it's still where you start. I reread that book so many times. I don't even know. I mean, I still go back and listen. I've got my key pieces of the individual times that for me are I need to be reminded of this like once a month. It doesn't get a whole lot easier. You just get more tuned into what your triggers are, where you can identify them more quickly coming at you, like that freight train where you're like, oh, I've heard myself say this before. The answer is flatten position, because clearly I'm not seeing, like, clearly there's a problem. The psychology channel. So Jaylee asked, where's the book again? So I'm going to tag it. I'm going to tag the psychology channel. You have to go to the pins or just scroll all the way to the top. And there are hundreds of posts in there. So it's not a short time, like now you're going to be fixed. You want to go through it and then continue to utilize it. So there are a bunch of audiobooks in there. There's a bunch of just general posts that I've put in. It is critical that you master your emotions, that you figure out how to not trade your emotions, that you're not trading your P&L, you're trading the chart. And that is it is huge. Yeah, Mark Douglas is the author of Trading in the Zone, but there's also some other really great audios in there from different authors, also from him. But more importantly, that you get on the path of not sabotaging yourself, of really working on the mindset piece. And the New Traders Bootcamp that I've recorded talk about all the TA stuff that I do, how I set up my execution charts. That's one thing. You definitely need to make sure that you have defined what your edge is. And that's one of the things that Trading in the Zone will say, hey, if you haven't defined your edge, it doesn't even matter what the mindset is, because you're going to end up in trouble. So you have to know what you're looking at with the chart, but I consider that to be less than 20% or 20% maximum of what trading success means. So then delving into the how you master yourself, because trading is the true mirror into your soul. So if you have issues with impulsiveness, if you have issues with greed, with whatever, it's going to show up in trading, and it's going to be your Achilles heel until you master it with yourself in trading, but in also other areas of your life. Let me flip back in, see if there was anything else. Yeah, my main focus was going to be on morning ritual and how you kind of come into your day. This is a post just above there from SCO back in March. I believe mental fortitude should be put above all else when conquering the market. Technical analysis matters, and it takes time to master it. However, your charting can be perfect and you can still fail in the market. The likely reasoning for this is being that you have yet to conquer the psychology portion. And then he also had tagged a Mark Douglas video. So just really, really important that you go through that content, because it is not just about you put money in an account and now you're trading, but how you manage yourself. So yeah, that was all my notes I had.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to cough. I'm starting to get some sinus pressure again. But I could go and share my morning routine now that I'm out of my trades and everything.
Awesome.
I'm just well, I wake up every morning. I do try to go to the gym consistently. If it's not, 5 days a week, it's 3 days a week, and I try to go from there. But and I make sure to always eat, and I just make sure to feed my body, right? Healthy body, healthy mind kind of idea, and just that's what really gets me going. And then after everything I do, like to shower right before I come and sit down at my desk, and I take like a little cold shock right at the end, just turn the water cold. And I mean that just kind of just helps you not like get into relax mode, and you're more alert. And I just yeah, then I come and sit down here in no bias, and I just look at what data we have, what do we have going on, where we're opening at. Start to look at futures, and yeah, just kind of start engaging with chat, but really don't start thinking about trading until I'm here at my desk. Of course, I peep the market. I just kind of look where we're at, but I don't let it get to me yet, because normally there's data or something at 8:30. You don't want to really form a bias before the too long before open. So
And bias is a tricky subject because your opinion of what could happen, I call that the if
Hmm.
this then kind of statement. If this
Yeah.
happens, then bear. If this happens, then bull.
Right.
One of the hardest things that traders can ever do is figure out how to trade against their bias, and I'm using quotation marks bias, their opinion of what should be happening. So the chart tells me this, even though I thought it
Exactly.
was likely for this to happen, it's a huge piece. So I personally try not to have any bias at all. It's just that, if we're above overnight high, above the RTH open, we're long. And it's really for me just those 30-minute closes. But if you got that feeling of this should happen, that should be a like huge exclamation point over your head of like, maybe I should just go look at the chart. Just because we're up this amount, just because we've done this, just because we've run this amount, just because we're near all-time highs. I think we're 4% from NQ all-time highs. 4. It's crazy. Actually, it might even be 3 now, like 3.5. It's crazy. Should we be here? No. Are we here? Yes. All that matters is what's actually happening on the chart. And I think separating out your opinion of Main Street is suffering. People are in horrible financial positions. We've got more credit card debt. We've got housing defaults that are probably not going to be anything like 2008, but we got people that cannot afford to buy a house, which starts to create a different, issue as far as housing availability and what needs to happen to pricing to get to the point where our rates are lower. There's all kinds of shenanigans about to happen in the next, like, let's say 12 to 18 months. But the market is separate from Main Street. And that's the biggest thing you have to remember. Just because we're paying more for food still, just because, and gas has come down a little bit, but just because we're paying more for gas for our regular living expenses does not mean that the market is going to hell in a handbasket. It doesn't mean that. There is a separation between them. And I think that's one of the biggest things that, if I could impart anything, having been trading since 2002, is don't get too caught up in what you think should happen. And you'll hear me say this all the time. Every time I think it cost me money, so I just trade the chart. Has been pretty interesting to watch VIX. I have a level at 13 that I've watched for a long time, but I have to be honest, I probably, once we tag 11, will be much more interested in short positioning, not so much the 13 at this point.
Oh yeah, basically, I'm probably done trading for the day. 2 for 2 on options, and then I hit profit targets for my eval accounts. So just hanging out.
That's awesome.
I really don't want to. Yeah, really don't want to give any back. So,
For sure.
but yeah, for my futures, I actually, oh yeah, I closed my trade of 8, but I was I think like plus 493 on one, and then plus 535 on the other. So
Oh, this is
I'm
a
good.
huge statement. I closed my trade of 8. You guys, if you're not paying attention to that, if you're sitting and you're flat on your position and your trade of eight's not closed for the day, that's your heads up. When I'm done
You feel like it?
trading, I don't
Yep.
like come back and look at it and my trade of eight's still open. It's closed. I would have to log back in and I'm done. So I'm
Yeah,
not logging back
exactly.
in. Get out of there, make it one more step.
Yep. I think I have Netflix up, right?
Right, right,
But yeah, no, seriously, it's a cloudy day over here. It's supposed to rain, and yeah, when it rains over here, it rains. So I'd make sure to not be out there.
right.
So um, I'll probably just, oh, it says rain stopping soon. Might see
Yeah,
what's up, but more than likely just a lazy day for me before the turkey day.
nice.
Yep.
All right. And just a reminder, you guys, 4 out of every 5 trading days are consolidation days. So, yes, we are on a trend day because we have not closed the gap. We opened above the previous high of the day. So, we open on a gap, have not closed the gap. It's by 1 tick right now. That is a trend day up, even though we're really pretty much sideways. We're above the overnight high, we're above the RTH open. you have to know how to identify those. And I do, one of my new traders boot camp goes into how to identify those. I think it is number 7 from February of this year that goes into how I identify those trend days. So I don't mark close as a gap up or down. So if we're opening above close, I mark that as inventory. For me, it's the previous day's range, high of the day, low of the day, is how I identify that. And then the close lets me see what the overnight inventory is as far as Globex goes. If you are trying to trade every single day as a trend day, you're probably getting literally clapped, like losing like crazy.
And that might be your problem. So just look at if you're trying to play, and that's what I was talking about in voice yesterday for a lot of it, is are you playing breakouts on consolidation days? Because if
Right.
so, that's the problem. You're supposed to be buying, or well, not you're supposed to be, but the move would be buy on the bottoms and sell at the tops, right? So
Yeah.
you got to switch your mindset. And then whenever we do have those breakout days, yes, you do play those back tests and the retests of the highs and the breakouts right there. Sure, that you play the the double top breaks, if you will, high of the day break, sure. But
Yep.
whenever we're consolidating, you got to play what's given to us. So you'll see it too. You'll see the selling and you'll see the buying. You just got to pay attention to wicks. And that's
Yep.
all it is.
And looking at previous days, that whole look left concept is so huge.
Yep.
So not just zoomed into a 5-minute chart where you're only seeing today's price action. There are levels from the day before and 2 days before the T+2 that are critical that you're paying attention to.
Absolutely. No one to get that down. I mean, that's really just polishing it up and recognizing what kind of day we're in and playing the levels or playing the breaks and, vice versa. If it's really ugly, just walking away and protecting capital and trade the days that you read well. And then, after a while, you're going to start reading more days well and then you can start trading well.
Well,
So
and
really
it's
just a
physical
patient
capital,
vibe.
right? Your actual trading business, so the money, but also emotional capital. So you're not so zapped that you're like,
Yeah,
I cannot trade
exactly.
anymore. If you need to
Yep.
take a break, take a break. Because it is a business and it does require a lot of energy to be able to maintain. And if you're not doing that and you're finding yourself not consistently profitable, that could be something to look at. So that's your homework over the weekend. Go to the Psychology Risk Management channel and go through everything. The Trading in the Zone is 8 hours long. I listen to it at 1.5 speeds because that's how I operate, faster, apparently. But making sure you're going through the content, even if you do it at regular speed and you're taking notes and you're going back to it, start there. And when I first opened the channel, I really focused on what were the things I needed to know as I was having a problem trading. So it's curated as the things I think you should start with at the beginning. So picking and choosing, totally fine. But if you want to just know what I would tell you step by step, that's the start, is in the Trading Psychology channel. And it's a huge piece. Okay, I have a Zoom personal training session starting right now.
Yep.
So I'm
And
going
I
to
am
hop
about
off.
to close the charts and enjoy the afternoon.
Nice. Are you trading on Friday?
Yeah, I'll trade Friday morning.
Okay,
And then
nice.
it's a half day, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah, so got a little half day kind of session. I don't think I'm going to other than updating swings or initiating new ones, but we'll see. So good to catch up with
Yeah,
you
I'll see
and
what it brings us.
happy Thanksgiving.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk soon.
Take care.